Hi there, this is Maneesh from PMP bringing to you yet another power-packed episode on PM Ninja video series. In this particular video episode, I'm going to talk about a very basic question. What is PMP? Now, you might be surprised, why is this guy talking about what is PMP? Right? After so long, the channel has been running for so long, usually people start with that. Well, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm getting off late a lot of questions, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, WhatsApp messages, and what have you. And many of them keep coming to me and say, you know what? One of their bosses, one of their relations, one of their friends, one of their colleagues, they have advised the person to go ahead and prepare for PMP. The only problem is I don't know what is PMP. And the number of calls that I'm getting actually warrants for me to create a video just on that. A simple video explaining and answering all your questions about what is PMP. To know more, keep watching. All right, so when we talk about PMP, what is PMP? I'm going to take up a few questions. The very first question is simple. What is PMP? Well, the full form for PMP is Project Management Professional. It's an endorsement and it's a postfix to your name. For example, I am Maneesh Vijaya, PMP. It's an endorsement. It's a postfix, right? Just like a doctor is a prefix, it's an endorsement. And it endorses your abilities as a project manager, irrespective of the domain that you're working in. You become, domain agnostic. So you are very good in project management and you have been certified so. Who certifies it? That's PMI, Project Management Institute, which got established in 1969. And since then, more or less since then, they have been one of the top 10 certification bodies across the planet, right? So they've been quite popular from the day go. And you know what? They'll continue to be so in the foreseeable future. You need to understand there are two kinds of work. Either it is project related or operations related. Yeah, let me get this again. If you get any work, whether it's the laws of the universe, whether it is your professional life or your personal life, if you get a work, it'll be either project related or operations related. There is no third category. That is something that you should know. Which means that if you do MBAs, operational management, super specialization in marketing, supply chain, works management, right? All of that has something to do with operations. Operations has always been about super specialization in a specific function because operations is all about functional excellence. Having said that, if you just get an MBA and say, hey, you know what? Start managing a project, that's where things go wrong. And it has happened in the past. People just thought project management, well, it's just another field of general management. So why not? Just get the MBAs there. Failed miserably. Because you have a different mindset. You have a completely different set of thinking tools and techniques that need to be applied. And all of that is encompassed in the concept of PMP, Project Management Professional, which is what is focused on the project portion, not the operations portion. I think that explains to you exactly what a PMP is, Project Management Professional. All right, let's move on to the second question, and that is, should you do PMP? Is PMP for you or not? Well, here's the question. Do you want to make a career in operations or do you want to make a career in projects? You need to be very clear about it. And once you've got clarity, you need to educate yourself accordingly. If you want to super specialize in operations, PMP is definitely not the thing for you because that is hardcore, focused only on project management, literally nothing to do with operations. Keep that in mind, very clear. So if you are into operations, if you are into general management, PMP is not the one for you. But in case you want to make a career in project management, this is the de facto certification for you, right? So make sure you are certified PMP. And of course, later on, I'm also going to tell you about some of the eligibility requirements for this certification. But I think you get the general idea that if you want to, specialize in project management, want to let the people know that you have arrived in the world of project management, that you do have the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to actually take on larger projects, PMP is for you. I do understand that there are some domain-specific certifications like Agile, like Scrum Master, things like that, Safe Agile, stuff like that. That is basically for IT and telecom. And of course, there are many others like specific construction-related project management, a focused certification. And there are so many of them. But you need to understand that if you want to be only in IT, even then PMP is a very good certification. I'll tell you the reason why. PMP gives you the entire focus on project management, not only on a specific methodology. You need to know the difference. Agile, Six Sigma, all of these are basically different methodologies that implement the system of project management. PMP certification is for the system of project management. And of course, you can later on, depending on the kind of domain you are in, you can then decide for a more specific methodology-based certification. But that should happen later on. PMP should be your default and de facto certification if you want to show your career or if you want to grow in the career in project management, irrespective of the domain that you are in. I'll tell you why I did PMP certification. I was working in IT and I thought that I need to actually try out project management in different domains, different industries. And that's why I did PMP. And just after that, I actually resigned from IT and moved on to automotive and then moved on to quite a few things, right? Oil and gas and defense sector. So you name it. And it's all because of PMP certification, because it makes you domain agnostic. If you are PMP certified, the best thing about PMP is that you are an expert, a certified, globally certified expert on project management, not a methodology. The moment you understand this difference, methodologies are industry specific, not the system of project management. So if you are an expert in PMP or project management, as such, you can apply it in any domain. I do it. I earn my living because of that. All right. So it is very powerful. You need to know how to apply it. All right. So that's another thing about PMP. If you really want to go industry agnostic and be a super specialized person when it comes to project management, well, PMP is for you. Now, here's another thing. A lot of people think that PMP is only for IT people. In case you're one of those people who are from different industries where Agile is not at all used, please don't think that PMP is only for IT. It is just by chance that most of the people who are applying for PMP certification they are from IT, because IT, as you can see, is a sunrise sector. It is still a sunrise sector. It is still growing at a phenomenal rate. And that's the reason why the demand for certified project managers is growing like crazy in IT. But just because you see a lot of people from IT and telecom sector applying for PMP certification does not mean that PMP is only for them. I've got so many people from steel industries, traditional industries to get through PMP certification, and it made a very big difference in their career. So don't even for once think that this is only for IT and telecom. Right? So most of the ATPs or consultants kind of like to deal with IT companies, and you get this feeling, hey, you know what? PMP is only for IT. No, it's not true. It is for anybody who actually works in project management or any industry that has projects in them. All right? I think that should clarify it to you completely. This certification is also very important for those people who wish to change their career from operations to project management. Right? Of course, there'll have to be a little bit of a waiting period of nearly 4 years to generate that kind of eligibility requirement of real world project related experience? Well, apart from that, that's also one of the bigger reasons why people like to do PMP certification. A lot of people feel project management is a little more challenging. It's got more creativity. Well, go ahead, right? That's one of the reasons why you could actually go for PMP. So a lot of people who've got tons of years of experience in operations, part of that experience can also, I would use the word very carefully, can also apply in project management. But then how do they prove that they are equally good in project management, and that actually some of the experience from operations can be applied here without being counted afresh as year one, right? You should not be taken as a rookie because you already spent 10, 15 years, 9 years in operations. You should not be taken as a rookie when you get into project management. How do you do that? PMP certification. So these are the reasons why you need to do PMP certification. That's the reason why you should go for PMP certification. But I think you get the whole idea. It's only for project management. If that's not your cup of tea, this is not for you. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question, which is eligibility for PMP. I get a lot of questions from people, hey, eligibility for PMP. Then I also get to hear people saying, sir, I've got more than 9 years of experience, but I'm from the technical project side. I'm a chief engineer or chief architect or something like that, but I'm not really a project manager. And I say, yeah, you're eligible. And they say, what? It says 4,500 years of project management experience. I keep telling them, read the handbook carefully. It is project related experience. As long as you are connected to projects, that's okay. Basically, PMI is only interested in to figure out, hey, are you connected with projects and have you spent sufficient years in project? Are you matured enough? That's all they want to know. So you don't have to be a project manager. You just need to be any role connected to projects as long as you have a total of 4,500 productive hours with different projects, not a single project. You can have 4 or 5 projects, doesn't really matter, right? As long as you have 4,500 hours of project related experience, you're eligible. Well, that's one of the eligibility, to be very honest. The other eligibility is that you should have undergone a proper 35 hours contact hours training with a project management institute like ours, right? So you can actually go to any institute which is a project management institute, and they can provide you the 35 contact hours. What happens in these 35 contact hours is the entire PMBOK, the PMBOK, project managed body of knowledge, and all the related material is explained to you in a singular logical manner. And that is basically what PMI wants to know. Hey, do you understand our content? Have you gone through it? Prove it. How do you prove it? Well, you've attended a 35 contact hours. So that's your proof for showing, hey, now I understand. I've gone through that particular training and I know how you look at project management. So you have 4,500 hours of project related experience. You have these 35 contact hours as a proof that now you know what PMP is talking about. And then you need to be a graduate, right? So once you're a graduate, and please don't fall for that. A lot of people are saying that you have to have 4-year degree. A lot of, including me, I have a 3-year degree. It was accepted without any question whatsoever. A degree is a degree. So don't fall for that. The only thing that's going to create a problem is diploma, in which case you'll have to show 7,500 hours of project related experience, but the rest of the things more or less remain the same for you as well if you are from the diploma kind of a side. As I said, you do not have to be a project manager, and the application process is online. I'm going to have a separate discussion only on the application process. It's quite simple nowadays. However, I will have to say one thing. These days, because I'm a member of so many PMP forums, I do see a lot of posts from a lot of unethical people talking about, just give us this much of money and we'll give you certification. Or they even tell you, hey, you know what? We can actually make the application for you, fibbing all the data, even if you're not from, project management side. I have seen those people do it. I have reported them to a big extent. But there are so many that I got tired. I'm just asking other people to step in. We have to stop this. But forget about what others are doing. You, as a person, should not start your career on the foundations of unethical practices. That's the worst thing that you can do, right? You should be confident of who you are. If you're not making up those 4,500 hours, it's worth waiting. Take the training now, wait for it, apply all the PMP knowledge in the real world project, become even more confident, become even more mature, wait your turn, but then do PMP. So please do not fib data. Don't be unethical. Do not fall for these unethical practices. Study yourself. It's your career. You need to understand. How many people you've seen, sons and daughters are millionaires, they've just been handed over the key to run this billion-dollar empire, and within a few years they run it to the ground because they were just handed the keys, but they were not told how to drive. You don't want to be one of those kind of people. Learn how to drive and then be eligible to be handed over the keys. That's what PMP certification is all about. It's professionalism. Stick to that. It's for your career. I mean, getting some kind of an ethical way of getting the certificate, well, that does not make you a better person. To be honest, it actually makes you quite a shitty person. I don't think you want to be one of those. All right. Anyway, the next question that comes up is a major question, and that is how PMP certification can help you in your career. I made a complete list of all possible questions. Like on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm answering questions like crazy. Sometimes I take, nearly half an hour explaining something to, just one call. So it eats up a lot of my time. So once I record it, you just circulate, and I'm going to just copy this link from YouTube to the people who ask me these questions, right? So to be very honest, these series of videos are going to help you, but they're going to help me more, right? In terms of saving time. But I just want to make it as comprehensive as possible. I'm sure there are a lot of other YouTube videos just on that, but I'm talking about myself. Right? I like to do things in a more complete fashion. All right. Okay. So here's the question again. How PMP certification can help you in your career? Right? Right. So that's a very important question. The most beautiful thing about PMP certification is that it announces to the entire world globally that you know what you're talking about when it comes to project management. You rock when it comes to project management. You've been globally certified. You can walk into any company anywhere, you show your PMP certification, they know you understand. That's it, right? So it puts you way above a lot of people who are project professionals but are not PMP certified. Even some of your years of experience can be just waived off because you're PMP certified. So it does give you a tremendous benefit. Global recognition. I mean, you can go anywhere. For those people who like to migrate, like a lot of people go from one country to another. Some people like to come to India. Some people like to go to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, so many other countries, right? And you'll be surprised that if you're in the world of project management, all these immigration rich countries, they actually prefer that if you are in project management, you need to be PMP certified, and your number of points means your eligibility to migrate actually becomes better. So that's another fantastic reason for you to see the world, roam around. Of course, you'll have to wait for the end of this COVID period, which is, it's the second year running, right? Almost this entire 2021 will also be taken away. But, that's a great time for you to certify and be ready when the world opens up. So that's another fantastic benefit of being PMP certified. And as I've already told you, this certification actually makes you domain agnostic, industry agnostic. You don't have to be now typecasted as a steel industry project manager, IT project manager, telecom project manager, none of that. You can literally jump from industry to industry because you're PMP certified. Remember, PMP certification is for the system of project management, not for a specific methodology, because it is the methodology which is connected to a specific domain or industry. Keep that in mind very clearly. Now, here's a very important part that I needed to discuss. The future of business world is favoring project management. You will actually see, and I'm sure you're seeing it now, the number of R&D projects, the number of new innovations, the number of new projects happening around the world is far outranking the amount of investments in operations. So the whole world is getting more project heavy. Of course, I'm going to explain this a little bit later, but the fact is, the world, the future is for projects. So that's another reason why you should get into PMP certification and basically project management, because that's where the future is, the future of all jobs, the future of higher salaries, the future of challenges, the future of innovation. It's all in project management, right? I'm not making it up. That's how it is. All right. Look at the trends. Let me give you an example how tremendous the demand is for certified professionals. There are over 1 million PMP certified people on this planet. But that accounts to only 30%, 30, in fact less than that. It accounts to just about 30% of the total certified or serious professional project professionals that are required for all the projects on the planet. Just imagine. Now, I've also seen that during this COVID period, a lot of people, unfortunately, because the companies were not doing well, they also had their own problems. A lot of people got laid off. And I and a few other people actually have put at least 10 different people in different companies because they were laid off. And that was through our connections, right? And they were also very good people. I think 9 of them were all PMP certified. 9 of them were PMP certified. That shows that even in these difficult periods, when there are less jobs, but their projects are still going on, they would prefer a PMP certified person over any other kind of experience that you have. So think about it. So if you're a PMP certified person with experience, whoa, that's kind of cool. But that is what PMP is all about. And that's what the future is. Now imagine the kind of future that you expect when the whole globe opens up. Oh yes, I know you would be talking about, hey, what about the money? Yeah, well, I'm the kind of person who doesn't bother too much about money. People who have dealt with me, they know it. But at the same time, you need to understand that PMP certified people in general tend to get more salary than compared to the counterpart at the same level who are not PMP certified. So understand that, because it's also very common for PMP certified people to actually undertake larger projects. So that's another reason. So now the question is, why is the future of project management so rosy? Why is it such a amazing thing which is bound to happen? Let me give you some indicators. Let me tell you some of the things which you should be observing. You see, first of all, when it comes to PMP certification, since the last 40 years, PMP has been one of the top 10 certifications on the planet. And it will continue to be so in a very foreseeable or extendedly foreseeable future. It's going to be there for a bigger chunk. I mean, the certification level is only going to get higher. I'll tell you the reason why. The amount of investments that are happening around the world in projects far outnumber the amount of investment in operations. Now, let me also explain it to you how the industry is working. My first 2 cars were the same model. Slightly different model, one upgrade, but the same car company and same make, right? Think about it. But then after that, every 5 years or 6 years, I change my car. And I'm pretty sure you do the same. So gone are the days when even an automotive company can actually produce millions of cars and keep on selling it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and 40 years. They cannot. People want variety. People are now having much choices. They want customization. So most car companies, in fact, all the car companies, if they want to survive, they have to come out with better models faster. That means the volumes of operations are gone. The variety that you can bring to the market very fast, which is projects, is more. Therefore, a very traditional industry like automotive, and by default the rest of the manufacturing world, actually is shifting more towards, they have to shift if they want to survive, more towards projects, innovations, variety, changes, improvements, enhancements, rather than run-of-the-mill operations. And because of that, the number of project managers that is required in the project far outnumber the number of operational professionals that you require. The industries are now being set up with a project bent in mind. So their organization structure is strong matrix projectized, and it's actually project heavy, where operational people really don't have much. They're basically there for support role. And this is going to get more and more. Look at the defense sector. Look at the number of investments in the kind of things which are going on in the civil infrastructure. Look at general infrastructure. Look at the number of bridges, and just look what's happening around the world, and you'll see the amount of projects which are happening, right? And think about the operations. When was the last time you bought the same product which you bought 20 years back? The answer is no, not possible. See where I'm going with this? Get that. Look at the world. The world is changing way too fast, and we are getting to the VUCA world, VUCA, VUCA world of project management, right? A lot of innovations, a lot of changes, right? Now, please understand, IT industry is not the only industry in revolution. Manufacturing sector is in revolution. Mining sector is in revolution. Oil and gas sector, some of the most traditional companies on the planet are they're renovating completely, right? Look at the way Netflix and so many other platforms happened and suddenly wiped off the traditional market. All those multiplexes and so many things are now biting the dust. Operations are on their way to minusculization. They will be sidelined. Industry, you and me are changing it. Nobody else, right? We want choices. We want ease of access. Projects cannot be operations. You cannot continue to do the same thing which you've always been doing. You have to innovate. And when you have to innovate, you have to enhance, you have to change. That's project, right? So therefore, the investment in project is very high, right? However, with this bright future on project management, here are my certain warnings. And some very important warnings. Please take heed. What I've seen and I have observed, and I've done it myself, that when I select, I'm sometimes hired by pretty large MNCs to actually hire, capable project managers for them. I interview them, and you'll be surprised of late, the number of PMP certified people I'm rejecting is very high. It's very high. And that's because the number of PMP certified people I'm getting are those who have just certified academically. They went through hundreds and hundreds of questions, gave the exam. They have no clue about real world project management. They continue to work the way they wanted to. They did not understand project management, but they cleared it. They got pretty good scoring. But that's it. I cannot pay you for what you scored. I want you to perform. That's the reason why I'm going to hire you over others. That's the reason why I'm going to give you a better salary compared to others. So you need to be good at what you do, not just clearing the PMP. So the way you clear PMP is a very big problem. People who are resorting to unethical practices, people who are resorting to just studying, even there are certain ADPs, and in fact most of the institutes, they just keep on telling you tricks. If you go to Udemy, that's unfortunately one of the worst places for you to study for PMP, because what they do is they simply tell you, because they have to save a lot of time, because it's all priced for over there. So they cut corners. Who's going to spend a lot of time explaining to you at peanuts? Nobody. So what they do is they just tell you some tips and tricks. It works sometimes, it does not work sometimes. It's just the laws of averages. And if you do thousands and thousands of questions to practice, you just might get through. And when you do, you say, I did it. I'm PMP certified. Yeah, you are. Can you get the work done? Can you actually do project better? Can you actually deal with a larger team? Can you actually negotiate better? That's the problem. And therefore, you really need to understand project management. The material that is provided for PMP certification in these 35 contact hours are actually more than enough if they are taught to you properly, if you are made to understand. And then you spend a certain amount of time preparing from an understanding perspective rather than from mugging up perspective, and suddenly you'll find passing the exam is just a side effect. Your career takes a fantastic takeoff. That's what we're looking for. You want to build a career, not just your academics. This is a professional world. The academics are there for your profession, not the other way around. Get this out of your head. Don't fall into the trap of so many night operators who are just giving you these kind of certificates. Give me this money, I'll give you a certificate. Don't pay the money till you actually get the certificate, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. That's unethical. First of all, they're fooling you, but even if some of them are doing it, I don't know. There are corruptions everywhere, maybe in PMI also, I don't know, right? But the point is, you need to be very careful. You need to be ethical. Forget about what others are doing. You need to be ethical. It's your career. You have one single life. Make the best of it. And make it on a foundation which you can really be proud of. Not stolen. Not just compromised. Somehow got it. If you can do PMP and you can actually do projects, nobody in the world will ever stop you. Nobody can stop you. So understand, that's my warning. Don't do it academically. Do not be unethical about it. Don't fib about your data. Wait your turn. Clear it with understanding. Once you do that, then the rest of the things that I've talked about, the future of project management, will apply to you. None of that future will apply to you if you're just somehow certified without understanding project management. You're still doing the same stuff that you did before, just groping around trying to do something. Sorry, that's not going to give you any benefit, right? So the world is for project management. It's really opening up. You need to be ready, not just certified. All right. So here are some of the questions that I wanted to answer, and I know this is a bit of a longish video, but it's for your own good. As people who know me, they know that I try to make things as complete, as authentic, and as realistic as possible. Right? Thank you for watching. This is Maneesh from PM Pulse, bringing to you yet another power-packed episode on PM Ninja video series. Catch you later.